Welcome to small lathe. In the lines of sintered material, all you have to do is a bigger tube, a longer shaft. You just put those on, put the sleeve on, and then you just compress it. And when done, you can hear that. That's a really nice, not perfect fit, but fairly good fit. Because you get a volume. And then you can just press either a flat top or conical top with your material, and you can press it with this rod in the tube or not, depending on your setup, basically speaking. And that's all there is to it. I've been asked to make 2 compression rods. And the reason is because when you're pouring fluffy material that has a lot of void volume in it, it takes up more space. So you want to be able to fill a larger volume and then compress it to the right size, shape, and depth and all that. So that's the idea. So that's what we're making. We're making 2 tubes, 2 compression rods, basically speaking. So these are 10mm brass rods. They, of course, will not fit. Oh, they fit here, barely, because that's not a true rod. It's ovally shaped, like. And because this is extruded, it's never going to be really round. It looks round, it's not round. And this is truly round, and we reamed it, and it starts to fit, but it doesn't go through. It will definitely not go through the straw. Just take the straw, and you can see it's not going to go through it unless it just deforms it. And the reason is the straw is 10mm on the outside. OD. Right, so let's face these off. Enough chatter. Let's face these off, drill, tap, and do the rest. Let's start with the facing. Yeah, that's one side, and let's. Now this is way out of the nominal distance, so I'm taking light passes, and we'll just slowly do it for both. I'm not going to show it. This is basically the finishing drill of this 55mm long internal shaft. So let's try that. Right, now the thing I wanted to show you is I can put this inside, actually the chuck. The chuck is holding this, well, partially, loosely. Why? Because it's just holding about 2.5mm off the drill. I have the drill entirely almost outside. And how can I do that? Because the shaft is supporting the drill. This is just pushing it forward. And this is a method I use to drill to the full depth of the drill, or nearly the full depth. And now this is, I needed a 55mm long shaft. I actually got just a bit under. That's not that bad. So it's going to have a contracted area where it's going to be exactly 2.5mm internal diameter in the nozzle. And it does, again, doesn't matter because he drills it to whatever size he needs according to his math, and this is just a preliminary model before the pros take over. So that's actually one shaft done, and you know what, let's test it. Before we take it apart, let's give it a go. Actually, it does fit. We're going to be turning this to the right OD. Right. So, let's release that. I'm going to be holding it like so, with the original markings against it. We don't have a lot to hold it by because we need a 55 millimeter sort of approach here. But let me get the lathe cleaned and then we can avert to doing that. Okay. So this is our setup. We're going to be holding this very edge. We need about 5.5 centimeters. That's actually the number that got me off last time. So we got 5 up to here, ish, and then we got a bit more than 5 over there, something like 6 millimeters to the very end. So this should do it. Actually, I can reach up to the very jaw, very near contact with the jaw, but not touching it, of course. That's my max width, and actually I don't see any actual distance between the cutter and the jaw, but they don't touch. And I'll give it another 0.5 millimeter to spare. Just for me, of course, not that I could care a bit. Okay. There we go. Now I can see about 1 millimeter of difference there. Alright, more or less that should do it. Let's give it a shot. See how it goes. Yep. 6.42. That sounds good to me. So we got a considerable runoff. This is not well centered, and I'm not blaming my centering method, which is of course the reason for this runoff, but but partially I'm blaming the spindle bearings, which are shut. We really need to replace those, but that's going to be done really shortly. In the meantime, Does it fit? Very snugly, but it does. And still you can loosen it really easily. So yeah, we got a 0.1 millimeter tolerance, which is really nice and snug. So we have a setup ready. We can take our base and fit it with any type of rod length we choose, as long as it's 2.5 millimeters. I think this is pretty cool. So for cement, we'll just be using a short piece. I got it somewhere here, of course. There we go. And we just install it. And we install our short tubing. Fill this with, I don't know, sort of Play-Doh like cement, and we're ready to rock and roll. And just compress it like so, using a small press or just by hand. I have no idea if he's going to do that. So that's part A. And part B, if we're having more like a powdery consistency of a filler, then you need a longer tube, in this case the blue one, and a longer support tube, which is this thing. Get in. There we go. Then you can just, shape it. If you want a flat top, if you want a conical top, you can just press it in like so, and we get a setup. Done with that, on we go to number 2. Compress, release. This is a lot of fun. And we got a multiple option setup here. And well, that's it for today. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a sweet day. You really didn't think I'd leave that at that and not really give it a go, right? So there goes our setup. We have some clay around here, and we do have some homemade spatulas. So we have some clay here. We'll just clay powder sort of ish, and we'll just fill it in. I don't know how much to put, so it's going to be a trial and error thingy. I think like 4, 5, 6 scoops of that. And I think that should do it. Looks nice and neat. Get that. Okay. There goes our ramming rod. I'll just compact this. And I gotta move the camera, otherwise it's gonna smack. Gonna get smacked, but there it goes. Okay, try again. And that's about it for this little press. Get this out. Get this out. Okay, so we got a rod that's stuck in there. Let's twist it gently out. I mean gently. Okay, and now we have a setup encased. Already you can see there's a nice sort of going out kind of nozzle. Now I'm guessing that had I had a really good press, not this tiny little thing, you could have, we could have gotten something a little bit better. But see what we do have. Let's try and get that out. It's not really coming out. A little bit more pressure. I think I'll oil it next time. In the surface between the tubing and the. Let me see what I got here that may be useful. Okay, so I found this washer, which fits a 10mm hole and a massive sort of setup to compress against, and we'll just push this down. Okay, we're getting it out in sections, but we're getting it out. Like it's going to. There we go. Now you can see the bulging in the middle, so that's the problematic area. Sorry, you're not supposed to come out. You're supposed to. There we go. Come out like that. And there we got a nozzle, or something like that. With the lack of the proper tool, we'll have to improvise, and we're going to be using these scissors to show you the nozzle. Just get the access. And that's the 30-degree cone, and me messing with that meant that 90-degree cone is actually better. So we got two cones. We got a 30-degree cone that, you know, the fact that I'm not using professional tool to press it and get it harder and so on. And now that I'm thinking about it, I actually may get it back on the lathe and give it just a tiny edge over there, so the edges won't shatter like that because they're very crumbly. This is not that sort of a stiff material. Oh. Okay, so enough playing around. I hope you enjoyed. It's been interesting, but I gotta go up. The wife calls, and that's it. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and that's it for today.